There is a reason you did not scroll past this video, and no, I do not think that happened accidentally. Out of thousands of videos, thousands of voices, thousands of distractions fighting for your attention tonight, something in you stopped here, something in you stayed, even if you do not fully understand why yet. Because this video is not speaking to the loud part of you. It is speaking to the tired part, the quiet part, the part that has been pretending everything is okay while secretly feeling emotionally exhausted for a very long time. And I need you to hear this carefully before we go any further. This is not one of those videos that promises your entire life will magically change overnight. I am not here to sell you fantasy. I am not here to tell you that one sentence fixes every wound, every heartbreak, every financial fear, or every lonely night you have survived silently. Life does not work that way. Healing does not work that way. Real change is quieter than people expect. But sometimes, one moment of recognition can change the direction of your entire life. One realization can interrupt years of emotional patterns. One sentence can reach a part of you that nobody else has been able to reach. And maybe that is why you are here tonight. Because deep down, you are tired of repeating the same emotional cycle. Tired of waking up with heaviness in your chest. Tired of overthinking every conversation. Tired of expecting disappointment before life even has the chance to surprise you. Tired of carrying invisible stress that nobody fully understands. And maybe the hardest part is this. You have tried before, you have listened to advice, you have watched videos, you have told yourself things would change. But after a while, hope started feeling dangerous. Because every time you hoped too deeply and nothing happened, it hurt more. So instead, you became careful, emotionally careful. You stopped expecting too much, stopped dreaming too loudly, stopped believing life could suddenly become lighter. And that survival mode slowly became your normal. But what if the problem was never that you were incapable of changing? What if you were simply exhausted from carrying too much fear for too long? What if your mind has been protecting you so hard that it accidentally started blocking the very peace you have been searching for? That changes everything. Because this video is not about becoming someone fake. It is not about pretending pain does not exist. It is not about toxic positivity. It is about finally understanding the emotional pattern that has quietly controlled your energy, your confidence, your relationships, your money mindset, and even the way you see your future. And once you see it clearly, you cannot unsee it. That is why this video matters. Not because it will magically solve everything in 1 hour, but because if you truly absorb what is about to shift inside you tonight, you will never look at your life the same way again. And honestly, that may be even more powerful, because real transformation does not begin when everything around you changes. It begins when your inner world stops working against you, when your thoughts stop preparing for failure every morning, when your nervous system stops expecting rejection before connection, when your body finally experiences one quiet moment without fear controlling every decision. That is the shift. And only a small percentage of people are emotionally ready for it. Most people want fast results. Few people are willing to truly face themselves. Most people search for motivation. Very few search for emotional truth. But you did. That is why this video found you. Not because you are weak, because some part of you is finally ready to stop surviving and start healing honestly. And I know something about you already. You are stronger than people realize. You have survived things silently that would have broken other people completely. You kept going while carrying heartbreak nobody knew about. You smiled during conversations while anxiety quietly lived in your chest. You continued functioning while emotionally drained. And after a while, that kind of survival changes a person. You stop asking for help. You stop expecting understanding. You stop believing life can soften again. But listen to me carefully now. You are not too late. Your life is not finished. Your peace is not gone forever. And no matter how long you have felt stuck, something can still shift from this moment forward. Not perfectly, not instantly, but genuinely. Because once the mind becomes aware of its own hidden patterns, change begins automatically. Awareness changes behavior. Behavior changes energy. Energy changes decisions. And decisions slowly change entire lives. That is why I need you to stay with me until the end of this video, because before this ends, you are going to recognize something about yourself that may explain years of emotional exhaustion. And once you recognize it, you will finally understand why nothing external could fully change until this internal pattern changed first. This is your sign, not a loud sign, not a dramatic sign, a quiet one. The kind that arrives when your soul is simply too tired to keep living the same way. And maybe tonight becomes the night you stop abandoning yourself emotionally. Maybe tonight becomes the night you stop preparing for disappointment before life even speaks. Maybe tonight becomes the night you finally allow peace to feel possible again. Not because somebody saved you, because you finally saw yourself clearly. And if that happens, you will never regret pressing play on this video. And the strange part is, it may already be working for you. Most people would laugh at that sentence because nothing around you looks different yet. The bills still exist. The silence still hurts. The waiting still feels endless. And yet, something has already started moving. Not outside you, inside you. That is what almost nobody understands about attraction. The shift never begins where you can see it. It begins in the nervous system, in the body, in the quiet conversations you keep having with yourself when nobody is listening. And before this video ends, you are going to understand why some people experience visible change within one day, while others wait years and feel nothing at all. Not because they are unlucky, not because they are broken, but because of one hidden emotional pattern almost everyone repeats without realizing it. You have probably repeated it too, especially at night, especially after disappointment, especially after trying so hard to stay hopeful that hope itself started feeling exhausting. You wake up already tired, not physically, emotionally. There is a specific kind of heaviness that comes from wanting your life to change for too long. You stop talking about it. You stop expecting calls. You stop checking certain accounts. You stop imagining good news because imagining it hurts more now. And nobody sees that version of you. They see the composed version, the functioning version, the smiling version. But they do not see the moment your chest tightens after opening your banking app. They do not see the strange silence after everyone leaves your house. They do not see how hard it is to believe new love exists after disappointment rearranged your trust. And they definitely do not see the exhaustion of pretending you are fine, while secretly wondering why nothing ever seems to fully arrive for you. That kind of pain changes the body. It changes how you breathe, how you wait, how you expect. It even changes what you believe you deserve before life has the chance to answer you. But listen carefully. Your exhaustion is not proof you failed. It is proof your mind has been carrying too much tension for too long. And tension blocks reception faster than negativity ever could. That is the first loop most people never close. They think attraction is about forcing positive thoughts. It is not. It is about removing emotional resistance your body no longer wants to carry. Because the human brain does something dangerous after repeated disappointment. It stops preparing for possibility. It starts preparing for protection. And protection feels safe until it quietly becomes isolation. You tell yourself you are being realistic. But deep down, you are rehearsing loss before life can surprise you again. That is why people stay stuck. Not because they are weak, because their nervous system learned to expect emotional impact before joy. A woman in her 50s once described it perfectly. She said, "I stopped dreaming carefully, so disappointment would hurt less." That sentence carries years inside it, and maybe you understand it immediately. Maybe you have done the same thing, made your desires smaller, made your expectations quieter, made yourself emotionally invisible so life could not embarrass you again. But here is what nobody tells you. Your mind cannot fully receive what your body secretly believes is unsafe. That is the real barrier. Not worthiness, not intelligence, not timing, safety. And tonight, something may finally shift because you are seeing the pattern clearly instead of fighting yourself blindly. You are never asking for too much. You are bracing too hard for loss. The pattern has a name: emotional pre-departure. It is what happens when part of you leaves before life even arrives. You detach early. You expect silence early. You imagine rejection early, not dramatically, quietly. You stop leaning toward possibility because disappointment trained your body to stay guarded, and over time, this becomes automatic. You walk into opportunities already expecting collapse. You meet kind people while waiting for betrayal. You receive good news while searching for the hidden problem, not because you are negative, because your brain adapted to uncertainty by predicting pain early. That adaptation once protected you, but now it is exhausting you, because the body cannot attract closeness while rehearsing withdrawal at the same time. And this is the sentence I need you to hear slowly tonight. I stop preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. Say it again inside yourself. I stop preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. Do not rush that sentence. Your body has spent years tightening against disappointment. It may take a moment to believe softer things are possible, but this is where change actually begins. Not in fantasy, not in force, in awareness. The brain changes through repeated emotional experiences, not repeated pressure. And psychology has known this for decades. The first principle is called emotional prediction. Your brain constantly predicts what comes next based on past experiences, not future potential, past evidence. That means if you lived through repeated rejection, financial stress, abandonment, or instability, your nervous system begins expecting those outcomes automatically. A man who lost his business once described waking up every morning with panic before opening his email. Nothing bad had happened yet that day, but his body had already predicted danger, and prediction shapes perception. When the nervous system expects loss, it notices threats faster than opportunities. That is why exhausted people miss open doors while searching for warning signs. The second principle is called emotional familiarity. Human beings unconsciously return to feelings they recognize, even painful ones, because familiarity feels safer than uncertainty. Someone who spent years feeling ignored may distrust genuine attention. Someone who struggled financially for decades may panic when stability finally appears. Not because they want suffering, because unfamiliar peace feels emotionally disorienting at first. And this is important. Your body can confuse calm with danger if chaos became emotionally normal. That realization changes everything. Because now you stop attacking yourself. You stop saying, "What is wrong with me?" and start asking, "What did my nervous system learn to expect?" That question creates compassion. And compassion opens change faster than shame ever will. The third principle is called identity reinforcement. Your brain protects the identity you repeat most often, even painful identities, especially painful identities. If you quietly identify as overlooked, abandoned, unlucky, disappointed, your nervous system keeps organizing experiences around that expectation, not magically, psychologically. Because the brain searches constantly for evidence supporting who you believe you are. A woman who had struggled with money for 20 years once realized something shocking. Every time an opportunity appeared, she immediately thought, "This probably will not work either." Not out loud, internally. So her body approached opportunities with tension instead of openness. People felt it. Conversations changed, decisions changed, and eventually outcomes repeated. Not because she was cursed, because identity silently shapes behavior before results appear. That is why tonight matters. Because awareness interrupts automation. And once a pattern becomes visible, it can finally change. Say the sentence slowly. Let your body hear it. I stop preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. Again. I stop preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. Notice what happens inside your chest when you say it. Not excitement, not pressure. Space. And space changes people faster than force ever could. Because the moment your nervous system stops rehearsing disaster, energy becomes available for something new. That is the second loop being resolved tonight. You thought nothing was changing because nothing external moved yet. But the first real shift was never external. It was the moment your body stopped treating hope like danger. And if this feels strangely emotional tonight, there is a reason. Your nervous system may finally feel understood instead of judged. That alone changes people. If this feels true in you tonight, write this in the comments and let your own words witness you. Write, "For the next one day, I stop preparing for loss and let life arrive differently. Not for performance, not for motivation, for recognition." Because sometimes healing begins the moment your hidden pattern finally receives language. And there is something else happening here tonight. Something quieter. You are starting to realize attraction is not about becoming somebody else. It is about becoming emotionally available to the life already trying to reach you. That changes the entire conversation. Because now you stop chasing, you stop forcing, you stop emotionally gripping every outcome. And instead, you begin practicing emotional allowance, not passive waiting. Allowance. There is a difference. Tonight, before sleep, something simple can begin changing inside you. Not dramatically, gently. You lie down. The room is quiet. Your body finally stops performing for the world. And for the first time in a long time, you stop scanning tomorrow for problems. You stop replaying conversations. Stop predicting disappointment. Stop negotiating with fear. You place one hand softly against your chest, not as motivation, as reassurance. And you let yourself imagine one thing arriving without struggle. One call, one opportunity, one peaceful moment, one unexpected opening. Not perfectly, just honestly. And as your breathing slows, your body begins learning something new. Safety without certainty. That changes the nervous system deeply. Because healing does not happen when life becomes perfect. It happens when the body no longer believes every unknown moment contains danger. So tonight, you do not beg life to change. You let yourself become emotionally reachable again. That is different. And this is where most people finally understand the title. It is not the video itself creating change in one day. It is the interruption of a hidden emotional pattern. One sentence repeated with emotional honesty can redirect attention, identity, and nervous system expectation faster than people realize. Especially before sleep. Especially when repeated slowly. Especially when the body finally believes it no longer needs constant emotional armor. So say it again tonight, softly. I stop preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. If something in the last few minutes just settled in you, like a quiet recognition rather than a new idea, tap like. Because recognition changes people, not hype. Recognition. A woman who had nearly stopped believing life could surprise her once experienced this shift quietly, not dramatically. There was no huge breakthrough moment. No sudden miracle, just exhaustion, years of it. She had spent decades surviving emotionally difficult relationships and constant financial instability. Not poverty exactly, but instability. The kind where relief never lasted long enough for the body to relax. She woke up every morning already tense, checking messages carefully, checking balances carefully, speaking carefully. Even joy felt temporary to her. Especially joy, because every good moment in her life seemed followed by disappointment eventually. So her nervous system learned something dangerous. Do not fully trust happiness. By the time she found this work, she was emotionally tired in a way sleep could not fix. And one Tuesday night changed something. Not because her circumstances suddenly transformed, because she noticed herself preparing for pain before anything painful even happened. She was sitting alone after dinner. The television was on quietly, her phone rested beside her, and she realized she had spent the entire evening waiting emotionally for something bad. A difficult message, a bill, silence from someone she cared about. Nothing had happened, but her body was already braced. That realization hit her harder than expected, because she suddenly saw the pattern everywhere, how she minimized hope before opportunities, how she emotionally stepped backward before closeness, how she distrusted calm moments instead of resting inside them. And that night, she whispered something new before sleep, not loudly, not perfectly. I stopped preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. At first, it felt almost uncomfortable, because her body did not trust softness yet. But she kept repeating it slowly, not trying to convince herself, just allowing the sentence to exist. The next morning, something small changed, not externally, internally. She woke up without the familiar pressure in her chest. For the first time in years, her mind did not immediately search for problems. There was just space, quiet space. And during that day, people noticed something different before she did. Her voice sounded calmer, her face looked softer, conversations flowed differently, because when the nervous system softens, behavior changes automatically, and behavior changes outcomes gradually. That same afternoon, she answered a phone call she almost ignored. An old professional connection had thought about her unexpectedly. A conversation began, then another. Within weeks, new work arrived. Not magically, relationally, because her energy no longer communicated exhaustion and guardedness constantly. And something even more important changed. She stopped abandoning herself emotionally before life had the chance to arrive. That became the real transformation. Not the money, not the opportunities. Her relationship with expectation changed. She no longer lived inside constant emotional pre-departure. And once that shifted, life began meeting a different version of her. That is the part people miss. Your nervous system teaches the world how to approach you, not spiritually, behaviorally. Your facial tension changes, your tone changes, your openness changes, your decisions change. People respond differently. Opportunities feel different. Even timing feels different because you are finally emotionally present enough to notice what was always passing near you. And maybe tonight, this is happening for you too. Not all at once, but enough to begin. Enough for your body to stop rehearsing endings before beginnings even start. Enough for possibility to feel reachable again. Enough for tomorrow to feel less heavy than yesterday. So hear the sentence one more time. Really hear it now. I stopped preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. That sentence is not fantasy. It is permission. And for the next one day, I want you to practice something quietly powerful. When you wake up, pause before touching your phone. Let your body arrive before fear does. At midday, notice whether your mind has started predicting disappointment automatically. Do not fight the thought. Just notice it. And before sleep, return to the sentence slowly, not mechanically, emotionally. I stop preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. Let your breathing soften around it. Let your shoulders release around it. Let your nervous system experience one moment without emotional armor. Just one. Because one day is enough to interrupt a cycle. One day is enough to create awareness. One day is enough for your body to realize it no longer wants to live entirely inside protection. And right now, something important is happening. You are no longer waiting for permission to believe change is possible. You are becoming available to it. That changes everything. The waiting version of you is ending. The braced version of you is tiring. The guarded version of you no longer feels sustainable. And deep down, you already know it. You are ready for a different emotional experience of life. Not perfect, different, quieter, softer, more open. Because attraction begins the moment your nervous system stops pushing life away defensively. And maybe this video found you at the exact moment your body was finally ready to hear that truth. Not earlier. Now. So tonight, stop rehearsing collapse. Stop preparing emotionally for silence. Stop assuming disappointment before life speaks. Let tomorrow arrive before deciding what it means. Let people surprise you again. Let peace feel possible again. Let your body stop carrying futures that have not happened. And as you fall asleep tonight, remember this slowly. I stop preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. Again. I stop preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. One more time. I stop preparing for loss and let life finally arrive differently now. The shift has already begun, and this time you are not abandoning yourself before life has the chance to meet you. If this felt like it was written for you, because in a deeper way it was, welcome home to Healing Love Space.